Ever caught yourself jamming to Olivia's chart-topping hits? Well, get ready to have your world rocked. Now we uncover a scandalous secret that's been hidden for years. Hollywood sets, blazing egos, and danger lurking in the shadows. Olivia, the sweetheart of the screen, almost walked away from her iconic role in Grease. We're diving into a mystery that's been giving Olivia sleepless nights for decades. Intrigued? You should be. This is Olivia Newton-John as you've never seen her before. Was Olivia Newton-John's lost ex actually hiding in Mexico? Meet the amazing Olivia Newton-John, a true superstar who rocked the music scene with 15 incredible top 10 songs, 5 of which reached number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart. Think about hits like If You Love Me, Let Me Know and Have You Never Been Mellow. These songs were huge in the 1970s and played everywhere. But that's not all. Olivia Newton-John took on a whole new level of fame when she played the unforgettable character Sandy in the movie Grease in 1978. That's the movie where she shined and captured the hearts of a whole new audience. The movie was shot around the Los Angeles vicinity during the summer of the previous year. It had wild cast and crew members who converged in their unique personalities to make a film. They had no idea it would turn out to be a legendary masterpiece. The movie was made with only $6 million, which is like a tiny bit compared to big movies. But guess what? The movie became so popular that it made almost $400 million at the box office. Can you believe that? It was a huge hit. Our interest now is not how much the producers took home, but the abysmal behaviours and activities that the camera would never capture. Analysts say it was not the best of it for Newton-John or anyone to want to experience. Flaring self-esteem, burning temperament, hot temperatures, illness and even death had characterised the set of Grease, something that has left critics wondering, with some drawing conclusion that the movie and its cast were in some way cursed. Olivia Newton-John had talked about how she almost stayed away from her role and the film. Why? I wasn't sure I wanted to do the movie. I'd made a movie before in England, a musical, and it didn't work, she was quoted. The highly celebrated music star appeared opposite John Travolta in that movie. Did Olivia Newton-John say she was frightened about doing a movie? She was afraid of falling because it was not in her nature to fail. Country conformists have never been mellow about this pop celeb. Newton-John's fame wasn't the kind that would excite conservatives. They were never enthusiastic about her songs, even though her talent was successful among a wider audience. Her arrival in country music, critics say, saw her coasting to victory with many recognitions and awards, plus its peculiar controversy that became one of the industry's most publicised character crises. It's no qualm for cute Olivia Newton-John, whose long-time country fans still love, regardless of any dissenting voice. As a wholesome lady, Olivia Newton-John's personal life was not without love and heartbreaks. Here's a puzzling story that's still a mystery. Olivia Newton-John's ex-boyfriend, Patrick McDermott, vanished a long time ago, and no one knows where he went. Even after she passed away, this mystery remains unsolved. Before she passed away, Olivia Newton-John wasn't in the news much. She got older and wasn't feeling well. But in 2017 there was a surprising story. They found her ex-boyfriend, Patrick McDermott, who had disappeared 12 years ago during a fishing trip. Was he ever found? What led to his disappearance and why? Too many questions that my esteemed audience would help me provide an answer to. One thing I've learned so far is that Patrick vanished from his boat after he went fishing. While still searching for her heartthrob, Newton-John did find a working formula in John Easterling, her husband. And I remember how Newton-John once talked about her personal struggles in a private recording. She shared secrets she hadn't told anyone before, and it's almost like she had a special feeling about what was going to happen. Olivia Newton-John fervently managed stage 4 breast cancer, which ultimately led to her death. She would be remembered for her grace in the music industry, which was keenly recognised the day she was elevated as Dame Olivia Newton-John. Let's dive into the story from the start. The Cambridge-born star became a famous country singer in the 1970s When she was a child, her family moved to Australia. She started her singing career as a teenager. 5 years old Newton-John had arrived in Melbourne on the SS Straighthard alongside her father, who was the head of a Presbyterian church college. Growing up, she had many ideas for her future. She thought about being a scientist like her dad, but science tests worried her. Instead, she followed her love for singing. When she was 14, she joined a girl group called Soul 4. They even performed at a coffee shop owned by her relative. Not too long after, Newton-John found herself playing regularly on local Australian TV shows, known then as Lovely Livy. After winning a talent contest whose reward included a trip to Great Britain, young Newton-John was reluctant to travel out that year. She missed her then boyfriend, Ian Turpie, who co-starred with her in the Australian telefilm Funny Things Happen Down Under. Newton-John's early negligible success in England may have motivated her quest for international music fame, as she made a grand entry into the American music charts with a cover of Bob Dylan's If Not For You, that hit number 25 on the pop rankings and prevailed at the top spot on the adult contemporary grade. Her slim contribution to country music earned her a 1974 nomination from the Country Music Association for Female Vocalist of the Year. She won to the dismay of the genre conformists. The surprise was her defeat of classic country talents like Dolly Parton, Loretta Lynn, Anne Murray and Tanya Tucker. There was some disagreement, and a group called the Association of Country Entertainers was formed, but it didn't change much. Olivia Newton-John kept doing her music, and she's very talented and cute. The Newton-John issue was obscured by more shame when the CMA gave John Denver its Entertainer of the Year, but all that is now history because none could stop the cute and talented singer from doing her shows. Though she left the country music scene, Newton-John remains a noticeable music gem across the globe, due to her charitable ingenuities, her courageous fight with breast cancer, and of course her remarkable role as Sandy in Grease. More recently, I've come across a new generation of fans who identified Newton-John with Hopelessly Devoted to You, a top 20 country hit in the late 1970s, while she sustained more fans with pop hits like Magic and Physical. Through the period of her career life, Olivia Newton-John may have sold about 100 million albums, and later she became very active in breast cancer care. I wouldn't want to undo anything I've done. That may not be good for me. They're part of your growth, she was once quoted. John Travolta, who played Danny Zuko in Grease, saw Newton-John as the best choice for the part of Danny's girlfriend, Sandy Olsen. He did everything to get her to play the role against all odds. Referring to how young men in the 70s viewed the album cover of Olivia at the time with the blue shirt and big blue eyes, he says, "Every boy's, every man's dream was, oh, I'd love that girl to be my girlfriend." Travolta on what inspired him. Travolta and Newton-John soon became lifelong friends, even though rumours had insinuated that they dated, but it seems they were like brother and sister. They were more like family than anything else. And lots of things brought them together, including the horrible experience on the set of the movie. Reports say a few of the cast and crew suffered from injuries and infection, with a particular actor hurried into surgery. While filming the epic Thunder Road car race in the movie, director Randall Kleiser got a terrible foot infection. It might have happened because he came into contact with the stagnant water in the Los Angeles River, which was full of bacteria. Kleiser remembered that it was very hot and he was walking around without any shoes on. Similarly, in the same scene, actress Annette Charles, who played Cha-Cha, was waving the flag before the famous car race and experienced intense pain. It wasn't due to the water, but rather because of an ectopic pregnancy which required immediate surgery. Reports say she was in so much pain that she had to lean against vehicles to finish her part before being taken to the hospital. The prom scene was filmed in a gym without windows, making the temperature rise. This was due to the producers wanting to have control over the lighting and sound effects, even though it was a very hot summer at the time. Some film extras were also removed because of heat-related infections. Jeff Conway, who played Danny's friend Kaneki Murdoch in the movie, is said to have fallen while dancing, injuring himself. The doctor prescribed opioids for temporary pain relief, which is believed to have led to the actor's lifelong addiction. Sadly, he reportedly died from a pill overdose. Newton-John once described Conway as having a good heart. Sources say that during filming the cast was quite noisy, which affected other movie stars who found it difficult to concentrate on their performances. Apart from the hot atmosphere, egos conflicted and tempers were out of control. Conway particularly clashed with Travolta after feeling backstabbed. The bone of contention was the greased lightning number, which was meant to be Conway's moment as Kaniki. However, Travolta wanted it, and it was difficult for Conway to accept, as requested by the producer. Another hit at Conway's ego was that the masterminds behind Grease needed the leading man to be exceptional compared to other males in the movie. Conway was, however, taller than Travolta, so he felt bad that he was told to hunch down for scenes where he stood side by side with Travolta. But it seems Conway outsmarted Travolta when it came to women, including his affection for Newton-John. Although she also had chemistry with Travolta, everyone kept their boundaries and they remained friends. Newton-John was even credited for bringing her sister Rona to Conway in a relationship that led to marriage. And for Travolta and Newton-John's romance, they kept it platonic because they were married to different persons. I think it was good because I think it kept the tension, but we're still great friends, she later recalled. When recent reports went viral about the discovery of Newton-John's missing boyfriend, everyone was curious to learn more about the story. A lot of curiosity was raised after 48-year-old McDermott went missing. He had joined a boat from San Pedro Marina and suddenly vanished under mysterious circumstances. Personal items, including his wallet, were sighted on board the dinghy. This was after a US Coast Guard inquiry in November 2008 concluded that McDermott most likely sank, although the circumstances involving his disappearance led to a theory that he might have forged his death. About a year later, media investigators insinuated that McDermott may have faked his death to avoid his debts. He owed $8,000 to his ex-wife for child support. The story remained uncertain until 8 years later when an Australian magazine reported that it had evidence showing that Newton-John's missing beau was actually alive. They added photos to their collection from the US media agency Coleman Rayner, displaying a man who matched his already public description. Private Eye Charlie Parker opined that the image was a 90% match to McDermott. The widow's peak is exact, eyes are very similar, and the ears extend down on the head, same distance. There has also been an earlier claim of McDermott unearthing in Mexico with a German lover sometime in 2016. When Newton-John was confronted by the media, she voiced her unhappiness about the man she loved and his sudden disappearance. Fans agreed with her that it's human to wonder, but one must let go of things in life and accept them the way they come, saying, "I live on, and of course questions come up always." About his whereabouts, of course. Over a decade ago, when the incident happened, Newton-John told her fans how McDermott's disappearance brought her closer to his former wife, Yvette Nippar, who she described as a wonderful person. Hollywood stars and fans would continue to honour and remember Newton-John because she has represented triumph and optimism for over 30 years. Yet it seems she never fully healed from the mystery of her lover's departure. He left on June 30th, 2005 and never returned, maybe a sorrow she carried with her to the end, along with her battle against breast cancer. Facts suggest that 22 people were with him, but he vanished before the vessel returned to shore, with no one noticing he was not on board. Olivia Newton-John had been in and out of relationships, but none has ever made her restless like her affair with Patrick McDermott. Their 9-year fling may have started after her divorce from her first husband, Matt Lattanzi. Devastated, Newton-John was in Australia on a tour when her boyfriend disappeared. Despite searches by police and private efforts, no solid proof of his whereabouts surfaced. "I don't think I'll ever find peace with it," Newton-John said, troubled by the ongoing uncertainty. McDermott, a cameraman of Korean descent, reportedly withdrew his savings and possibly changed his identity to Patrick Kim, but these details remain uncertain. Olivia Newton-John found love in her second husband, John Easterling, whom she married in Peru. They remained together till her regrettable passing on. The brave Aussie singer is said to have spent hours before her final moment with a voice recorder, trying to reveal her best-kept secrets. If you're hungry for more jaw-dropping stories, spend more time on our channel and get ready to be hooked. Trust me, you won't be able to resist our latest video, How Pat Sheehan Ended Up in a Father-Son Love Triangle. It's a must-watch.